Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Indigo Wound Wisdom podcast. I'm your host and sister friend, Shatia T. Owsley, and thank you for watching and or listening. So sit back, grab some tea and a notebook, and let's vibe together as we have organic and practical conversations embracing intuitive wound wisdom, spirituality, and a sprinkle of magic to rebel, restore, and radiate overall wellness in our lives. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Indigo Wound Wisdom podcast. I am your host and your sister friend, Shatia T. Owsley, and today I would like to introduce our guest, Miss Leah Lynch. Hi, Leah.
Hi.
Leah Lynch is the owner of the Matri House, a holistic wellness brand dedicated to transforming the way mothers experience postpartum care. With a background as a holistic doula and herbalist, Leah provides virtual and in-person postpartum support, digital guides, and community-centered resources that help women embrace rest, nourishment, and balance. Focusing on centering Black mothers and families, Leah's mission is to challenge the culture of burnout and replace it with care, connection, and sustainable support. Through her work, she bridges entrepreneurship with healing, creating innovative offerings that merge tradition, wellness, and the modern accessibility. Leah's work is not only about supporting the mother, it's also about reshaping maternal care and reimagining what thriving looks like for families. Leah, I'm
Hello.
so glad that you are here today. I did read your bio, but tell us how you got started on your journey.
So my journey began around 2017. That's when I had my first child. Growing up, I felt like I wanted to be a nurse, which is it kind of coincides with what I do now, but it's more of like, nursing is like the clinical side. But I went to the healing route. So I became a mom in 2017, and it's like my world opened up in a different way. I had someone else to nurture and to care about. So my firstborn son, he came into the world, and then it's like my world flipped. So I'm just in a good way, of course. But I just knew, like, once I saw his face, I was like, you know what? I have to really commit to being the best mother that I can be, showing up in ways that I may not have experienced from, my mother or women in my family, but just being intentionally purposeful with being a mother. So I had him, and then I took a deep dive into what my journey was like postpartum, because I feel like during postpartum, you don't really know what you need until you you fight through it, and then you kind of look back and you say, "Hey, that was kind of scary. I don't even know what place I was in." So that's how I got into doula work, is having my birth, number one, that's a long story, but I ended up having a C-section with him, and it was traumatic. And I think I didn't really realize how traumatic it was until, like months and almost maybe years after the fact, when you have time to like regroup and really sit with yourself. So I said, you know what? I want to figure out a way where I can um, assist mothers on their journey, because it's a big deal. You're welcoming yourself into motherhood, and then let alone the process of getting the baby here. And then you go through another process, which is, postpartum. So I knew that I was changing. Like, personally, I knew it's hard to tell yourself, hey, I can't go back to the same person that I was before I had the baby, because that'll never happen. Right. And that's scary. You're like, hold on, I can't. So I'm really not the same person. My brain chemistry is different. My body is different. I have to get adjusted to who I am. I mean, everywhere, like body, mind, image, relationships, friendships, everything changes at once, and it's very overwhelming. So I began to look up how to assist mothers. I didn't even know what a doula was then. So I began doing research, and back then, like, I think, yeah, around 2017, Facebook groups and things like that were really cool to join. So I found some groups that I could join, and then I came across what being a doula actually was. And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I really think I could do this. Like, when you find something new and you're like, wow, like, I mean, I took a deep dive. And, after that, I began to do train. I took my first doula training around 2020. So it took me some time to find a trainer. And actually, my trainer is a midwife now. So she's the best. But I took my first training and it was amazing. And I knew then I couldn't stop. I was all in after that. So I took my training and then after that I went into a few other trainings. I took a fertility training. I did everything. CPR, anything you could think of, birth work. I was in it. So and then I began my herbalism business too. So I kind of put the two together. So I started taking virtual clients first in 2020 because COVID was, hitting full force then. And nobody wanted to come out the house. Imagine being pregnant during that time. So you like, oh no, I can't be around nobody. I don't want nobody around me or my baby. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna do virtual services for right now. And I'll see who's a good fit and who feels comfortable with that service. It is an adjustment. Being a doula, you want to be hands on and, showing people what to do in person, just getting the energy exchange from other people in person. So to kind of exchange that for a virtual experience, you have to be very mindful about, how you're making your clients feel. So I started that virtual experience. It was very smooth. It went very well for me during COVID. And then I switched to in person as COVID kind of, went away. It never really went away, but when people
Mhm.
are feeling more comfortable with it. I've done a few hospital births for family and friends as well. So it's very different. Trying to include your holistic approach inside of a, clinical environment, but
Mhm.
it's possible, it's doable because you can start to implement the holistic practices during pregnancy. When you're in your postpartum journey, it continues. So that's kind of, how I started. My background was never really birth work. I went to school for recreation therapy from
Mhm.
UNCG. So I kind of took a switch and my heart led me, I'll say, into the
Mhm.
birth work. So yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you in regards to saying your heart led you. I think most people, I would say the majority of people who do birth work are led by spirit or led by their heart into this work in some way. And it's so interesting because, so many people that I talk to say, oh, I fought it for so long, or I tried to run from it. And it was just like, it just kept pulling me back in or kept pulling me. So to
Yeah.
hear you say, yeah, my heart led me there. Another thing that's really common that I hear is many people were on the track to become doctors or to become nurses. And there was a shift or a change where they said, nope, that's not where I want to be. And they have taken more of a holistic approach to care and to wellness.
Right.
So what do you feel led you down more of the holistic path instead of going to nursing school?
So I'll say I there was a time where my son, when he just started daycare and he just kept getting sick. And I mean ear infection after ear infection. Take him to the doctor. They give you antibiotics only for it to happen again. Right. So I'm like, you know what? Cause he was like two or three at the time. I'm just like, I don't want to keep pumping him up with, antibiotics and Tylenol and anything you could think of to try to get rid of it. I said, I want to take the more natural route. So I began doing research about alternative medicine, is how I was looking it up at the time. And I was like, you know what, maybe I could start using herbs. I started out by putting the herbs inside of his bath at first because, when you're when you're starting out with herbs, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous. I was like, you know what? This is new for me, honestly, because my parents didn't show me anything about herbalism or how to use plant medicine, I'll say. So this was a journey I was taking on my own. So I was like, you know what? Let me start small. I started with the essential oils and herbs that I was putting in his bath, and I was just seeing how it would work for him and seeing if I see any changes. Is his skin reacting to anything? You know what I mean? So when I got good results, immediately I was like, hold on now. Okay, I can do this. I can do this. And I'm the type of person that I love doing research. Like if it's something that I'm really interested in, I'm just gonna go all in. So I began doing my research and I'm like, oh, let me look up, oh, what is the herb for this symptom? Or what's the herb for this and that? And then, so I was like, wow, there's literally an herb for everything. Like, literally, I mean, you can make a combination specifically for you, whatever symptoms you're having. The herbs are there to heal you and to help you on your journey. So that's how I started. Started off very small, and I started using herbs one at a time before I ever combined anything.
Mm,
And that's a tip that I want to share with other people. When you're starting out, don't combine stuff. You want to see how you respond to it, see what your body feels like before you start making combinations. So I started off small, started off with mullein leaf, see how he responds to that. Started off with peppermint, chamomile, things that are gentle for kids.
mhm, mhm.
And then I tried the certain teas on my own. And then that's how the journey began. Any question I had, I was researching it up, looking at articles and, looking at YouTube videos on how to use specific herbs. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you also mentioned essential oils. Can you
Hmm.
explain the difference between, I mean, of course there's a visual difference, right? Between
Yeah.
dry herbs and then as well as essential oils. But can you just kind of explain the difference between the two and how you incorporated them in the wellness of your baby?
Yeah, so with essential oils, they are very powerful. So you kind of want to be careful with putting them on your skin. So you want to dilute them first. So you want to, of course, you're gonna have water in your tub, right? With children, you cannot overuse well, even with adults, you can't overuse it at all. So what I did was I started putting maybe like I want to say maybe 10 drop might be too much. Maybe I started out with five drops in his bath water. But I also was using loose leaf dried herbs in his bath as well. So I would choose either one essential oil to put in because I don't want to overwhelm him, and then one dried herb in his tub because like I was saying, I'm new to this. And I don't want to
Hmm.
overwhelm his body, but what you want to do is with essential oils, because they are so powerful, you want to
Hmm.
be careful with, the concentration, like I was telling you, when you're adding it to your water. And with the dried herbs, you look up the properties and how it's gonna react, or is it gonna have a reaction or a response to the essential oils, or is it safe to use together? So
Hmm.
doing your research on that as well is helpful when it comes to your child. But yeah, just being careful
Yeah.
and mindful because like I was telling you, I was nervous too. So it just takes that one try, you know.
So, what did you find were the key benefits to using herbs or just taking more of a holistic approach? If you could give us like your top three holistic benefits that you saw once you started to incorporate them into your life with your children, with yourself, what did you start to see?
I would say just how your body responds with herbs. Sometimes your body takes time to adjust to what you're giving, but they herbs act really fast. So it's like, if your child is having congestion, runny nose and cough, right?
Mhm.
And you're giving them like Robitussin or Tylenol, it's gonna take a while. You know what I mean? And it's like, what are you really healing, right? With the Tylenol, you're kind of just putting what did they say? You're not really you're covering up what's really like it's a deeper issue going on
Right.
internally. So with
You're just
the
dealing with the
medication,
symptoms.
yeah, exactly. And then you'll find with these medications, they're full of sugar. Number one,
Mm.
it's like, and dyes and all types of things. So it's just like when you start looking at ingredients, that's big too. When you start reading ingredient labels and seeing, hey, what's in this? And then you looking up, what it is and how it's made, you like, "Oh, I'm scared." So I started seeing, like, you know what? There were times where I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna give him the Tylenol or whatever I was using back then, and Imma just see how he responds if I just give him herbs, right?
Mhm.
And my kids, they already know I'm quick to make them a herbal tea. They love it because they're used to it now. So it's like I'm seeing how the teas that I make for them is allowing them to cough up the mucus. I mean, they're good in like 2 to 3 days. Fever is
Mhm.
cut. Because I think a herb that I used to use was mullein leaf for them, ginger and chamomile. That was like a top blend that I used to use for them. And I mean, I throw some elderberry in there too. So just seeing how their noses, you want the nose to run, right? So you want to clear the mucus and you want the cough to go away and subside. So I'm looking at the time frame of when I'm giving them the natural medicine and then seeing how it's so much different from how when I'm giving them cough syrup from, like, the store, Tylenol, whatever. And just studying how they are and how they are responding to the medicine, I'm just like, you know what? I think I want to stick to this route. And knowing how the body works, because a lot of times people think, like, when their child is sick and they have a fever, no, we need to stop it. We need to, take a Tylenol to cut. No, that's their body fighting the virus, right? You want that
Mhm.
to happen. It's not always a bad thing when a fever is present. So, just studying your kids and seeing what they like and what they don't like, because it's an experience for them too. And
Yeah.
we're growing through it together. How does this taste? Is it bitter? Do you like it? Do you want me to add honey to it, or do you like it plain? Making it fun
Mhm.
for them. I used to even have them make their own teas when they're sick. So, pick this out. What do you want to put in your cup? You can, make it fun and interesting, because no kid likes to be sick, number one. And they
Right.
don't even like taking medicine either. Mine don't. Yeah, mine don't. They ain't like the taste of it. So I said,
Right.
let's make it fun.
Yeah, I love that. And so, as you started to see just like a shift, well, you started shifting. You
Hmm.
started shifting and you started changing how you were doing things, what you were used to doing. And you made the decision, hey, something needs to shift here, something needs to change here. And so, you started to incorporate herbalism into your daily life, but also into your work as well.
Yeah.
So, how did you integrate that work into your postpartum work that you did with the clients that you had?
Okay. So yeah, when I made the decision to finally focus on postpartum care specifically, I began to look into womb wellness at the same time, and then taking a deep dive into fertility as well. And I took a training on womb steaming, which is great for a lot of things, but I also began in a deep dive into hormonal health, and all the things that women need. What are some things that we can drink or take daily that can, make sure that we're covered on all bases when it comes to our womb health? So, how I really started incorporating herbalism into postpartum care is, I would say, through womb steaming. As during postpartum, you're wanting to cleanse your womb, right? You just had a baby. There's a lot of things going on with you internally that you may not even know, that is, you're not even aware that is happening, right? And it's like you have your baby, but you still have to take care of yourself, because it's everything, baby. You worrying about breastfeeding. If you're breastfeeding, you worried about staying up at night. You just tired all around. But what I want women who are postpartum to realize is that you can't just, let yourself wither away. So there are small things that you can do. You can make yourself a cup of tea to warm your body in the morning, and even help produce flow of breast milk. There's ways that you can reduce bleeding and cramping through womb steaming with specific herbs. Just, there's lots of ways that you can incorporate alternative medicine during your postpartum journey.
So, for those that may not know what womb steaming is, could you explain what womb steaming is? And then, what are some of the other names that womb steaming goes by? Because some people may know what womb steaming is, but they may know it by a couple different other names. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, what I'm used to calling it is yoni steaming.
hmm.
So it is an ancient practice where basically you get a hot bowl of water. Now it could be hot when you're boiling the herbs, right? Well, actually, I'm gonna get back to that. You don't want to boil your herbs. Number one, but basically, womb steaming is you're putting herbs into a hot bowl of water. There's specific things that you want to use. You don't want to use plastic. You can use wood, or you can use stainless steel, or even glass, right? So you put your herbs in there, and then you can stay dressed from the waist up. But down below, you're not going to have anything on, because you're sitting over this steaming pot of herbs, and you sit over it, you open your legs. And what you want to do is, when you sit down over the herbs, you want to grab a towel, or like a blanket or something, to wrap yourself up so all the hot steam can go up into your uterus and you're steaming your whole vaginal area. And the reason why I said you don't want to boil the herbs because your plant medicine has they have a lot of volatile oils and important properties in them that you don't want to ruin with piping hot water. You can so what you do is take the water off of the heat and then you place your herbs in, and you don't want to sit directly on top of that hot water. Let it sit for like maybe 10 minutes because you don't want to burn that area. You don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So you have to have somebody that you trust to do this with you or to walk you through it. So yeah, it's basically sitting over hot herbs and steaming your womb.
And what are some of the benefits of yoni steaming or womb steaming? What have you seen personally, and what are some of the things that your clients have mentioned to you after you have facilitated and assisted them with womb steaming during, especially during postpartum care?
Yeah, so when you're steaming your womb, more than anything, it's an energetic cleanse, right? And but you get the properties of actually cleansing your uterine space as well. So emotionally and physically, you are getting closer to yourself, right? Because that's it's an intimate experience, right? It's this is just me and I'm taking the time to clear my space, clear my womb, anything that I've been holding on to. If there's an issue with fertility, there's specific herbs and that you can heal your womb space with. If you have PCOS, fibroids, you're doing it for a reason. But what really, I guess, guided me to womb steaming is that one-on-one intimacy with yourself, because sometimes women don't experience that type of intimacy with yourself. It's just, I don't know. Of course, you're cleansing your energy, but it's just so much more. You're getting to know yourself on a deeper level. You're getting to see how you feel once you're steaming. Sometimes it's an emotional release as well for some women during their first steam, because your womb, it's like a memory, like it's a muscle, so it remembers trauma and things that you've been through and things that you're holding on to. So when you sit down and you're steaming, you're like, okay, this is really taking me down a journey that maybe I wasn't really ready to explore, but here it is. So what feelings are coming up for you? Do you want to write about it? Or do you just want to be mindful and take some time to yourself and let the steam do its job and cleanse?
And I think one thing that I love about Eastern medicine and ancestral medicine is that it is all interconnected. The way it works and the way they work in community, and they help you to understand that nothing is separate, right? Everything is interconnected. And so when we are speaking on womb healing and womb
Mhm.
care, and this is with any part of the body, right? If your back is hurting, many times it's like, well, yes, your back is hurting, but what else are you carrying? What responsibility are you carrying on your back of why it's
Mhm.
showing up physically in your body? And many times, we hear the physical manifestation is the body's way of saying, you didn't listen to me when tried to
Yeah.
tell you mentally, when I tried to tell you emotionally what was happening. But when I put you on your butt or when I make something hurt, right, then you start to pay attention to what is happening and going on.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about wound care, and what I love about holistic wellness, ancestral medicine, is it lets you know that we have a responsibility to connect with ourselves, right? In order to tap in to understand what's happening. A knee pain is not just a knee pain. A back pain is not just a back pain. PCOS is not just PCOS. Infertility is not just that. And we know this because we have heard the stories, and we have also seen people work through
Yeah.
one of your specialties, which is introspective healing and work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so I would love for you to share how you got started. And I know many times people are like, I started with myself, because usually that's where spirit will knock you on your butt and be like, girl, you out here trying to help people. No, we about to help you. We gonna help you first. Okay. So let's get work on you. And I think that, you speaking of wound care is a great segue into introspective healing, because it is so sacred. It's so
Mhm.
deep. It is so powerful when you truly commit and take the time. So how did you get started working specifically in helping women with understanding, yes, we can do the herbs. Yes, we can do the exercises. Yes, I can give you all the resources, but we also
Yeah,
got to do some inner work.
absolutely. I want to go back to what you were saying about how your body lets you know it's time to do something different before you actually take that journey. And it's so true because what started me, of course, I started womb steaming years ago, but it didn't really click for me until, I'm doing it, of course, for its benefits and things like that. But there was a lot of other things that were happening with my body at one point in time. I remember I was doing a lot of things at once. I was going to work. I was in school, I had a baby, and my body was giving me signs. Like I would get vertigo for like maybe days at a time. And it wasn't clicking for me because I was like, why am I getting these dizzy? I was calling them dizzy spells because I was like, it happens for like maybe 3 days at a time and then I'm okay. And then I'm starting to notice like it's happening every so often. So I'm looking at what am I doing, throughout the week and the months that this is happening in. Like I'm trying to notice the patterns, right? So I'm like,
Mhm.
I wonder if this is happening because I'm feeling overwhelmed or because I'm tired. And my body's trying to let me know that, okay, it's time for you to either let something go or relax for a little bit and stop doing so much at one time.
Mhm.
So, me listening to my body, I feel like it comes naturally for me because I'm a feeler. Like, I can, if I'm aching in my neck and my shoulders, I'm like, you know what, I'm stressed. Like, if I have a tension headache, I can pinpoint, where that's coming from. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start listening to my body and listening to what it's telling me and doing something about it. Cause you can't ignore your body for too long. Cause like you were saying, it's gonna put you down.
Mhm.
It's like you gotta listen to what your body is saying, and then you can move accordingly. Because when you don't listen to your body, you listen to your body, it guides you. It'll tell
Mhm.
you what to do next. It'll lead you. So it's just up to you if you're listening or not, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So, number one, I feel like being in tune with your body and listening to what your mind is telling you instead of ignoring it, ignoring all the signs. Introspective healing is really, for me, is taking a deep dive into inner child work. Was I emotionally neglected as a child? Did I feel the love from my parents all the time? Doing some shadow work. Shadow work can be dark and emotional and hard. And it's like sometimes you feel like emotionally there's no way to get out of it. I've suffered through bouts of depression, just feeling overwhelmed, confused, not knowing what's going on, just emotionally unbalanced. And then when I
Mhm.
started having these symptoms and experiences, I had to take a deep dive into what was really going on with me. Why am I having these symptoms and these experiences? What about my environment or my situation is making me feel this way? And it's like sometimes there's not anyone or anything to blame. It's just you simply sitting with yourself and being mindful of when certain emotions come up and how you feel about it. So just taking baby steps and saying, like, you know what, maybe I'll journal what it started with me journaling during womb steaming. So I'm like, what are feelings that are coming up right now and how can I express it? Because I wasn't always much of a talker. And I'm also not, I was at a place where I wasn't comfortable with actually talking to someone about what's going on with me emotionally. So I would write a lot when I first began my journey. I would write a lot, of course, listen to music and dance and I'll try to be expressive. Even though I was scared, I would do this with myself because I have a fear of being too expressive because, someone may, be offended by, how I express my creativity and things like that. That's a childhood wound. So, just working through being expressive with myself and showing up for myself in ways that I feel supported and not looking outward, not telling, my business or every little thing that's wrong with me to someone else because what they gonna do about it? They might tell the next person. You know what I'm saying? They're people sometimes are just there to listen. They're not there to offer support or anything that you truly need.
Mhm.
Right. So I dealt with that for a little while. I sat with myself and, started my mindful practice and started my meditation. And I wasn't consistent with my meditation, but I would do it when I was led to do it. Um, and meditation used to be hard. Like me sitting with myself and noticing that my thoughts are racing. And I'm like, wait, am I supposed to be thinking about anything during meditation or am I not? So one day I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let my mind run. Like, I'm just going to sit here and whatever comes up, I'm not going to deal with it. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to try to fix it. It came up. Now I'm going to write about it if I feel led to or it's just a passing thought. I don't have to deal with it right now because when you think about it that way, you don't overwhelm yourself with your emotions. So I started baby steps on this introspective healing journey and just mostly looking at me and, noticing when did I become, so enclosed and when did I stop trusting people and when did I feel scared to express myself creatively. And it's hard, but you can do it. Yeah.
I think you made so many valid points. And I think there's so much information out
Mhm.
here between social media, between the books. And I think our society has programmed us in a way that we want to get it right. There is no right way to heal on your journey.
Mhm.
And I think one of the things that we should keep at the forefront of our mind when we are doing shadow work, when we are doing inner child work, when we're doing this introspective work, womb healing, is that it is a practice, right? It
Yeah.
is a practice. Meditation, you'll have people that will say to you, meditation is all about clearing your mind and you shouldn't be thinking about anything. And you're like, no, that is not
Right.
true, because yes, I want to sit with myself, but meditation again is also a practice. You may
Yeah.
go and sit in silence one day and you leave, and it's like, oh, that was so euphoric, right?
Yeah.
And then there
Yeah.
are times when you sit there and you're like, oh, I have to pick the kids up. Well, what are we going to make for dinner? Well, wait a minute, I'm meditating, but let me bring myself back. Let me bring myself back.
Yep.
And people need to know that's also okay, right?
Yeah.
That's okay. And then I think that it's important for people to know that meditation can take on many different forms. It doesn't
Mhm.
necessarily have to be sitting on a meditation pillow and sitting in silence. Your meditation could be taking a walk and listening to the birds and just being present. Right. And so, really understanding what meditation is. And I think also taking the time to be mindful in your daily practices. What do mindful practices look like for you?
Mhm.
All these are all ways of healing, all ways of tapping in. You mentioned so many things that you did during your journey. Journaling is
Mhm.
another opportunity for you to get out everything, those brain dumps, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To get out all the things that you are feeling. And so I appreciate your transparency and I honor you and appreciate you for sharing because I think sometimes people are hesitant to get started in some of these healing practices because they don't want to do it wrong.
Right.
But if they can come in and say, "Girl, I'm just gonna show up today. I'm just showing up, and we just gonna see what's gonna happen," right? That right there, hey, that's half the battle. That is
Right.
half the battle for sure. So I definitely appreciate that. So, what are some common misconceptions about holistic care that you have found when you are working with clients? So, when you are introducing maybe herbs or you're introducing certain practices, what are some of the things that people come back and say of why they can't do those particular things that
I
you have to be like, I have to debunk that? That is not true.
Yeah, I had a person, she was like, when I was giving, I think I was introducing elderberry to her at the time, and she was like, "Is this a psychedelic? Like, is this gonna make me high?" Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you just gotta tell people, like, you know what? There's certain properties in these herbs give you something that's gonna make you high. Like, no. Like, this is no, it doesn't work like that. Cause as an herbalist, you start doing your research on things and how they make you feel. So I think it's just getting to know, I mean, not getting to know, but being able to be on the same level and explain it to whoever is confused about how the medicine works and not overwhelming them with information instead. People want to know specific things like what is it going to do to me? How is it going to make me feel? And am I going to wake up tomorrow? Like, I'm like, yes, you're going to be fine. Like, people have the craziest things that, it's like, I don't understand why people have so many questions and things when it comes to natural ways of living, but you're going to take that store brand with no questions asked. You're going to take it and you're going to trust it, right? With everything
Mhm,
you got. But when
mhm.
I'm coming to you telling you, hey, you should try this instead of that, you go, I don't know about that now. But, it's just sharing, continuing to share knowledge and,
Mhm.
and sharing my own experience with others as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very important. Storytelling, especially in the Black community, is one of our love languages, right?
Yeah.
And being able to share our stories or to just share stories in general
Hmm.
is important to help people to feel that sense of love and support and community and
Right.
for them to also see themselves in others, right? Like you're not the only person going through this
Right.
particular thing. Like there are other
Hmm.
people who have journeyed down this road before you. And we're here to help you. We're here to, and hey, listen, being a birth worker, being a healer, an herbalist, doing holistic work, your journey don't stop. Yeah, we're still on the journey. And I think that takes us back to that introspective healing. Who you are today is hopefully who you won't be that same person 5 years from now, or three
Right.
months from now, or 6 months from now, because you are constantly growing and evolving. And I think as practitioners and as healers, when we are working with our families and we are working with individuals to help them to understand, you're the captain of your own ship, right?
Right.
We are just here as guides to help you to tap back into who you are and to rediscover that you have these gifts and this power and you
Hmm.
can do this. You can definitely do this. It is a journey, but you will do
Absolutely.
this. Yeah. So, what is the plan for your business moving forward and how are you pouring into the community through your business?
So now, as an entrepreneur that's starting over in my journey, so with the Matri House, I kind of wanted to. I do want to get back into making products. That's number one. So I'm starting to slowly bring back the herbalism, the teas, and the yoni steams with that. But I kind of want to build Matri House around community more. So now I am working on healing circles, and that's bringing women together to heal and hold space and be intentional about supporting other women emotionally because I want the Matri House to be like, I'm mothering other women, but I'm receiving the emotional support as well. I've accepted it. Like, you know what I mean? This is who I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I ran away from it for so long because of my issues, surrounding maintaining relationships with other women and even my mother wound. So it kind of scared me for a while, but I'm here and I'm accepting what I'm supposed to be doing in this work as a woman who's here to nurture other women. So I do want to get back into making products, but I'm more so focusing on emotional support for other women.
Mhm.
And, what that looks like as far as coaching, healing circles, and yeah.
I think that. I think that's beautiful. You are an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're all the things. We're all the things. We're the pharmacists, we're the shoe finders, we're the key finders, we're the, mommy, have you seen? We're doing all the things. And so is there something that keeps you grounded, or is there something that comes to the forefront of your mind when you're having one of those moments where you're like, mm-mm, I don't know about this. I don't know if I can keep doing this.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? It's not even a situation or a moment that was too far back. I want to say this is recently. I know I was telling you we're new to the area of Georgia and we just moved here. It'll be 2 years in January. So when it became real to me that I really needed help and I was struggling mentally was just last year. Being in a new state and everything is new. My kids are going to new schools and my husband works over the road. With it just being me taking on lots of tasks and new experiences and challenges, there were times where I was emotionally overwhelmed, feeling lonely, feeling like there was no way out. There are times where I had to just, the shower was my meditation. I mean, letting the water fall, I'm sitting down on the ground, cry if I have to cry. This was just last year. The place that I was in mentally, I had so many visions and so many goals that I had set for my rebrand, which is now the Matri House, where I'm like, you know what, I just don't know. I don't have it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know how to show up. I remember having a prayer every day. God, please allow me to show up in the way that you need me to show up for myself first, but for others as well. Ooh, just being at a place where you're emotionally lost and you know that you're not grounded and you're not balanced and you just have so many questions about why am I feeling like this, why can't it be easy for me? So I just had to take another I mean, I'm telling you, this introspective healing does not end. It's something that I always revert to because it's what helps me get to the other side when I am having my bouts and cycles of depression or questioning what my purpose is, I go back and I say, you know what? I'm fighting something internally and I'm not progressing because I'm ignoring the messages that spirit has for me. I'm ignoring the messages that God has for me and has placed over my life. So I always tell myself, you know what, take your time. This is not a race. You're not in competition with anybody. And the journey does not stop, it's ongoing. So be patient with yourself. It's okay to sit with yourself and to not know all the answers, but keep going. Keep going. And you will be on the other side and you will be proud of yourself for the work that you've done internally. And it just gets better. It gets better. Woo! My nose running. Ugh, my goodness.
Your message is the message that needed to be heard today, right? And it needed to be heard because I think that so many of us struggle by ourselves
Mhm.
trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But we are so much better in community.
Right.
I think that there is a place for isolation and solitude, and there is a time where can't nobody help you, right?
Yeah.
Like you just kind of it's one is like you said, you just gotta fall to on your face and
Mhm.
be present with you, right? And to pour into you. And I think, I think I was talking to my friends and I have this conversation often. And it really is, like you said, giving yourself grace, right? And being patient. But sometimes spirit got to whoop up on you because we don't be listening. We do not
Yes.
listen. We don't listen. And spirit said, I tried to tell you with a nice voice, a nice, quiet
Yeah.
voice. But you is hard headed and you're not paying attention. So now I
Uh-huh.
am about to knock you on your butt. And it does not feel good. But I believe the message that you shared today is a message that we needed to hear. And it's also a reminder for many of us, regardless of who you are,
Hmm.
that it's going to be okay. It may not seem like it's going to be okay, but you
Mhm.
will get to the other side. and the challenges and the tears and the rough
Yeah.
patches, all of those things, they will not be in vain. And
Yeah.
so again, it takes a lot of courage to let go. It takes a lot of courage for even you to show up today and to allow yourself to have this moment. And
Mhm.
sometimes, we can be real gangster and spirit be like, but I'm more gangster. Watch this. Watch this.
Yes.
Watch how I show up for you. Imma show up for you. Imma show up and Imma knock you down, but watch how I can make some things happen that you didn't think could happen for you when you are obedient and you are paying attention and you are following your intuition. Because 'Cause I'm not giving you these downloads for nothing. I'm not just playing with you for nothing. I'm trying to guide you, girl. So I do honor and appreciate you for that. Miss Leah, you are doing a lot of things. Miss Leah has an herbal tea ebook. Please go check out the herbal tea book. It is on her stand store. It will be listed in the description below. You are such a beautiful spirit. I'm
Thank
sending you so much love. Y'all need to go and reach out to Miss Leah and work with Miss Leah. Please let us know, how can we get in touch with you? How can we love on you? How can we support you? Now you are in Georgia, but you do virtual work as well,
Yes, I
right?
do.
Okay. So drop all the socials for us and the website. Let us know.
Okay. So I am on Instagram and Facebook. My Instagram name is the Matri House. And then on Facebook, it's just Leah Lynch. So my first and last name. And then I have all my stand stories in all of my bios. So it's in my Instagram bio. And I don't think it's on Facebook. Yeah, it's not on Facebook. But yeah, that's how you can. Oh, I do have an email. Should I share the email as well?
Yes,
Or
you can drop the email and I will put all of your information in the description as well so
perfect.
people can reach out to you.
Yeah, so if you want to reach me through email, it's the matrihouse@gmail.
Oh, beautiful. So I know, Leah, I had you in here crying and
Girl.
being really emotional. I got one more question for you. Hopefully, look, you can just even tell me one word if you feel like it's gonna be too much. Well, there's always one question that I love to ask our guests because I feel
Mm.
like it's always a learning opportunity for our audience and what we can gain because like I said, and we've talked, sometimes you do feel alone. And so to hear someone else's story, to hear that you are not alone, you are not by yourself, with all of the experiences that you have been through, everything that you've seen up to this point, having children, being married, moving to different places, what would you tell little Leah?
Woo!
What would you tell her?
And you know what? I love that question because it was just last week where I was looking at I have a favorite picture of myself that I go back to. And I want to say I was like 3 or 4. And I was just looking at that picture last week and I was just like, what would you tell yourself? So this is great. I was looking at the picture and I was like, you know what? I would tell little Leah that it's okay to be you. It's okay to be different and to show up as you are and not to compare yourself or your life to anyone else's. God made you the way that you are for a reason, and you have a beautiful mind, you have a beautiful spirit, and what would I say, what else would I say? It is okay to stop judging yourself so much. Like, that inner voice that you have, make it nicer. Like, you know what I mean? Stop
Oh,
critiquing yourself so much, downplaying your talent, downplaying yourself, and stop running. Stop running. It's okay. It's okay. You may not have been accepted for who you are in the past as a child, being creative, being so bubbly and playful and, just joyous. Everything doesn't have to be so serious all the time. You're an
mhm.
adult. No one's going to stop you from being who you are. So just be who you are. And it's okay to be you and love yourself for who you are and show the world who you are. Stop hiding. That's what I would tell.
Well, I love that so much. I mean, I feel like when I ask this question and people share what they would tell their younger self, it's stuff that we're telling our adult selves every day.
Yes.
We're still telling ourselves the same thing. Girls, stop running. Girl, show
Yeah.
up. Girl, we love the quirkiness about you. We love the authentic you. We love you for just being you.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite sayings is, girl, the sun don't apologize for being bright. So why should you? So I just want to say thank you so much, Leah. Thank you for your stories. Thank you for you. Thank you for your transparency and the work that you are doing. I am excited about the sister circles and the healing circles that you are doing. It is so needed. We are in need of community. We are in
Definitely.
need of sacred and safe spaces. We are in need of healing and rest
Mhm.
and reassurance and, a grace that only I feel like sometimes a good sisterhood can provide. And
Yes.
so thank you for creating these spaces and thank you for the work that you're doing. Everyone, please support Leah. Please love on her. Please check in with her and go and work with her. She is in Georgia. I will make sure that I drop all of your contact information below. But until then, thank you guys for watching another episode and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.